Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is potentially breaking out above this critical resistance, getting ready for the next major move towards the upside, while a new warning signal is still flashing in the short term that we need to pay attention to. So in just a moment, I'll be talking about my trading strategy alongside Ethereum getting closer towards potentially a major breakout, while Solana is already breaking out further to the upside from this bullish pattern. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still looking very bullish on the larger timeframes. Because at least as of right now, despite the short-term pullbacks along the way, we are still seeing higher lows and higher highs in the price of Bitcoin on the larger timeframes, also known as a bullish trend or bull market if we're talking about the larger timeframes. And also, as I've been saying basically every day over the last couple of weeks or so, we do have a hidden bullish divergence here on the 3-day Bitcoin chart with higher lows in the price of Bitcoin and lower lows in the 3-day Bitcoin RSI. And a hidden bullish divergence tells us that we're likely going to continue the bullish trend with another leg to the upside in the coming months. And so once again, that's basically the exact same thing I've been saying every day over the last couple of weeks. I've not changed once on the larger timeframes here. But as always, in case you're new to this channel, it's important to understand the difference between the different timeframes. So if we're talking about the short term, like the 4-hour chart, for example, that can flip between bullish and bearish basically every single day because it's the short term. It's talking about the smaller timeframes. But once again, when we're zooming out on the larger time frames, these larger time frames don't change very often, which is why I've been saying basically the exact same thing on the larger time frames over the last few weeks and really over the last year or so. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, the DXY is still in this bearish move, still in this pullback, which is bullish for Bitcoin. Because as we can see here, time and time again, when the DXY is bearish, that is usually very bullish for Bitcoin and crypto, especially when we're talking about the larger moves in the price. And so once again, this is not talking about the short-term day-to-day moves, because in the short term, we can see bearish and bullish price action basically every single day. But when we're zooming out, looking at the bigger picture, we are in the beginning stages of the next major move to the upside, similar to what we saw back here, for example, or back here, for example. Once again, as I've been saying basically every day since all the way back down here below $60,000, I've been saying this exact same thing on this chart right here. And so since my last video, the daily Bitcoin chart has not really changed, as well as this daily Bitcoin chart, because as of right now, the daily Bitcoin RSI is still looking very bullish. Once again, as I've been saying every day over the last couple of weeks. Because as soon as we started to see this breakout in the daily Bitcoin RSI, and then especially as we started to form higher lows and higher highs in the daily Bitcoin RSI, when I was sharing that signal around 2 weeks ago on the channel, obviously I was comparing this signal to previous times we've seen that same breakout in the daily Bitcoin RSI, and these previously have occurred right at the beginning stages of the next major bullish move that played out over the next few months. And so once again, nothing has changed over the last couple of weeks. As I've been saying every day, I'm still very, very bullish on the price of Bitcoin when we're talking about the larger moves on the chart. But once again, in case you're new to all of this, the larger bullish moves can contain short-term bearish price action here and there. And so just because we see a short-term pullback, or just because I may be bearish on, say, the 1-hour chart for one video, that does not necessarily invalidate the larger signals that we're seeing on the larger timeframes. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, once again, as I've been saying since all the way back down here at around 63,000, we've already seen the confirmed breakout for this bullish falling wedge pattern. And so technically, the moment we confirmed this breakout to the upside, that set up a bullish price target in between around 72 to 74,000, which is still currently the active price target. But obviously, just in the shorter term here, we did run into a bit of short-term resistance around 67 to 68,000, which we perfectly experienced a bit of a rejection from. Basically, the price struggled around that area for a few days as expected. But once again, that was just a bit of short-term resistance during this larger bullish move that we are seeing playing out on the larger timeframes. And so now that we're potentially breaking out above this resistance, which technically still needs to be confirmed with this daily candle close confirming above 68,000, which at least as of right now has not yet happened. But if we do end up seeing this daily candle close actually confirm above this resistance, then in that case, this area of resistance should become new support in case we saw any further pullbacks. And of course, the next significant resistance to the upside on the daily time frame is basically these highs right here. First of all, we could find a little bit of resistance closer towards 71,000, but the main area of resistance is in between around 72 to 74,000. And so basically, once we see those extra confirmation signals confirming this breakout above 67 to 68,000, like a daily candle close or a possible retest of that area, basically once we further confirm this breakout, we can potentially quickly expect a move up towards these local highs. And one of the reasons why we've just seen a lot of bullish price action right here is because a lot of short positions are getting liquidated right here, which I'll talk about in just a moment. But first, zooming into the 4-hour Bitcoin chart, and since my last video, this previous bearish divergence right here did actually invalidate, because since my last video, we've seen a breakout here in the RSI above this previous descending line of resistance in the RSI. But as of right now, we are potentially seeing a new bearish divergence form, because at least as of right now, the price of Bitcoin is still forming higher highs here in the short term on the 4-hour time frame, while the RSI, at least as of right now, is still forming lower highs. But it's important to understand that this potential new bearish divergence that's forming right here is not yet confirmed. Because at least as of right now, this latest high in the RSI is not yet confirmed in place, because the RSI by default goes off candle closes, which basically means if the price of Bitcoin continues this short-term pump, basically breaking out further above this area of resistance, then basically as the price of Bitcoin pumps further to the upside, that can drag the RSI further to the upside. And if the RSI breaks out above this previous high to create a new higher high in the RSI, then there's no bearish divergence at all. And so what we need to see is some sort of rejection, some sort of short-term pullback, at least in the RSI, basically being confirmed with 1 to 2 red candle closes in the price. And so once again, we did invalidate the previous bearish divergence, but we're potentially forming a new bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame, which is not yet confirmed. But either way, even if this new bearish divergence actually confirms on the 4-hour time frame, even if it confirms, it would likely just play out in the form of some choppy sideways price action, or possibly a slight pullback, kind of like what we saw just here, just in the short term. Because remember, this is only looking at the 4-hour time frame. It is zoomed into the short term. And so that's why I have to say it is important to understand the difference between the different time frames. Just because we have a bearish divergence on the short term, that does not necessarily mean the larger bullish move is cancelled. Because once again, these larger bullish moves on the larger time frames can contain some short-term pullbacks here and there, but don't be fooled by the short-term pullbacks, because on the larger time frames, we are still currently looking very bullish. And so that's why when it comes to my Bitcoin trading strategy right now, as I've been saying every day over the last few weeks, I am only looking for long positions, because I'm very bullish on the price of Bitcoin, especially on the larger timeframes. And so as of right now, I'm still in that Bitcoin long position that I've been sharing here on the channel. But just recently, just before I started recording this video, I did actually take a little bit more profits off the table for this long position. So in my last video, this was a 220k Bitcoin long position. But as you can see here on the left-hand side, this is now a $200,000 Bitcoin long position. And so as of right now, this long position that I've been talking about over the last couple of weeks is currently around $30,000 in unrealized profits. And I've already secured over $13,000 in realized profits. And also my stop loss for this long position is already well into profits, which means in the worst case scenario, if we were to just dump right now, which I don't exactly expect, but if that actually happens, then once again, even in that worst case scenario, I've already taken some profits off the table and my stop loss is in profits, which would close the rest of the trade in profits in that worst case scenario. But obviously, as you can see here, I'm still very much long on the price of Bitcoin. I'm still bullish, especially on the larger timeframes, which is why I still have a lot of this long position open. And because this is an inverse perpetual trade, even if I close the trade or take profits from the trade, the profits are paid out in Bitcoin. which basically means even if I close the trade or take some profits off the table because it's paid out in Bitcoin, if the price keeps bumping after I've already taken some profits from the trade, I also continue to benefit because the profits are being paid out in Bitcoin and I'm holding more Bitcoin. And also, if we end up seeing any decent sized pullbacks along the way up, I will potentially look to add to this long position on any decent sized pullbacks, like what I did back here. And as I shared here on the channel, when the price pulled back to around $60,000, give or take, right around there, I did indeed add to this long position, which I shared here on the channel very transparently. And so if you're new to the channel and you missed this trading opportunity, make sure you subscribe to this channel with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these important update videos where I actually share these trading opportunities where you could potentially make a lot of easy money. And if you want to actually take these trades for yourself, then personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit in the description down below and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position just by making a Bybit account using that link, making a deposit and claiming the airdrop. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see just now the price of Bitcoin has been liquidating billions of dollars of short positions. And so in other words, just now, the Bitcoin bears, the people that are betting against the price of Bitcoin going in the bullish direction, are right now getting completely destroyed. We are seeing a lot of short positions getting completely wiped out. And I've been warning about this for a while now on the channel. In fact, since the price was below $60,000, closer towards these local lows right here, I was talking about how we have billions of dollars of liquidity to the upside and how the price of Bitcoin is most likely going to go towards those levels to liquidate all of those short positions. And so when I was flipping bullish below $60,000 right down here, entering into my Bitcoin long position, which I was sharing here on the channel, I was getting a lot of comments telling me how I'm going to be so wrong and how I'm going to get completely destroyed on my long position. But obviously you can see how the long position is going right now, and you can see billions of dollars of short positions and now getting completely destroyed. And so as always, do not be fooled by short-term movements in the price, which can happen. Once again, we can see short-term pullbacks from time to time, but don't be fooled because on the larger time frames, we're seeing multiple bullish signals playing out right now. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, right now we are continuing to see the bounce from this Fibonacci level of support, which was sitting at around 2870 approximately. And in terms of the larger trend at play, at least for now, the price of ETH is still forming significant higher lows and higher highs, which by definition is a bullish trend here on the larger time frames, also known as a bull market. And if we're taking a look at the daily ETH to US dollar chart, right now the price of ETH is getting very close to potentially breaking out from this bullish falling wedge, which this line of resistance is sitting at around 3.2k approximately. And this line of support, by the way, is sitting at around 2840. And once again, right now we're getting very close to seeing a potential breakout above this resistance. But as I've been saying recently here on the channel, ideally, in order to become more confident that we're actually flipping bullish again out of this short-term bearish trend into a new short-term bullish trend for the price of ETH on the daily time frame, we ideally need to confirm a breakout above this previous high, which if we're looking at the candle closes on the daily time frame, that's sitting at around 3270, or if we're looking at the actual candle wick high, that is sitting at around 3350. And so once again, in order to become much more bullish again on the price of ETH in terms of the trend on the daily time frame, we ideally need to break out above those levels right there. And once we actually see that happen in the price of ETH, once we confirm a breakout above this previous high, then we can start targeting higher levels, like for example these highs at around 3.7k, and the complete technical price target for the falling wedge, which would be sitting at around 4070. And if we're zooming into just this area on the chart, taking a look at the 8-hour time frame, at least for now, the price of ETH is potentially still just in this choppy sideways price range, because right now the price is still in between this area of support and this area of resistance. First of all, this area of support is still sitting in between 28.50 to 29.50, and this area of resistance is still sitting in between 3.2k to 32.50, with more resistance once again at around 33.50. And so once again, this is why we ideally need to break out above this previous high right here in order to become more confident that we're actually reversing back into the bullish direction here in the short term, and not still just in this choppy sideways price range that we've been in over the last month or so. But even if we stay in this choppy sideways price range, believe it or not, you can make a lot of easy profits in choppy sideways price action just like this. And if you want to know how to do that, then stick around to the end of this video to find out more. But first, taking a quick look at the 4-hour time frame, and right now we are potentially on the edge of seeing this previous bearish divergence actually invalidate, because right now the 4-hour Ethereum RSI is getting very close to potentially breaking out above this descending line of resistance. And if we see this breakout in the RSI, then that would invalidate this previous short-term bearish divergence, which did already play out here in the short term with a short-term pullback and a bit of choppy sideways price action. And also similar to Bitcoin on the 4-hour time frame, if we actually break out above this previous high right here and form a new higher high in the price, while the RSI is still actually forming lower highs, then there's the potential that we could be forming a new bearish divergence on this chart. But once again, as of right now, we haven't even invalidated the old bearish divergence, at least for now. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 12-hour time frame, obviously since my last video, we successfully retested this area on the chart, which is now acting as new support once again, as we've seen previously on the chart. And so once again, as I mentioned in my last video, that area of support is still sitting in between 167 to 172. And as for resistance, we should expect some resistance at around 182 to 185. And that's mainly based on previous highs, and we also have more resistance in between $200 to $210. And as of right now, we still have an active bullish price target playing out, which I've been talking about basically every day since the breakout above 160. And of course, that is the bullish price target for this bullish inverse head and shoulders pattern that I've been talking about here on the channel. Once again, that price target is sitting at around $208 to $209. And so from the point of the breakout, if you took this trade right here to where we are right now, we're already up around 13% with no leverage, or to the complete technical price target, that's around a 30% move to the upside with no leverage. Or even from where we are right now, as of recording this video, to that technical price target, that's still potentially around a 15% move to the upside still to go. And so just for example, as always, this is not financial advice, but just for an example, if you had a 10x leverage long position with a 15% move still to go, a 10x leverage long position would mean a 150% profit, more than doubling your initial money. But of course, between now and that price target, we do have these areas of resistance where the price could potentially struggle at or experience rejections from. And as I've also mentioned recently here on the channel, due to my personal situation already being very much long on the price of Bitcoin, and because the crypto market usually moves together, just because of that, because of my situation, once again, I'm not actually taking this Solana long position right here, which I've been sharing here on the channel as a trading opportunity that we could take. But once again, because I'm already long on Bitcoin, I'm not longing this move for the price of Solana, because if Solana is bullish, usually Bitcoin is also going to be bullish, which in that case, I'll benefit from my Bitcoin long position. But if you want to take trades just like this, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto in any direction, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.